sharing from Numbers, Bamidbar 17:10. I was in a class, we called it Living Deeply with the Sacred Text, and I learned from the pasuk, the verse, remove yourself from this congregation and I shall consume them, and they fell on their faces. It's God talking to Moses and Aaron. So I thought of like Aaron energy is like channeling anger. The Jesus complex is taking the blame. So trusting safety and belonging, asking for what we need. We know what we have to give. Being in the fire like his children and having to let go of those who get consumed. This is Aaron again. And changing family systems. This is like plagues from within, preparing for going into the darkness. Then I thought, what does this mean for me? Being heard and listening to, integrating wisdom and knowledge, balancing reason and creativity, showing my weakness is true strength, softening and soaking with love, enjoying the masculine side of the inner child too, and honoring the feminine side, modeling living in a general life, like living life in general by showing up as I am and holding safe space for others as they are. And as a reminder of communal wisdom, I can't be with someone who can't be with another. So if I can't be with another, then they can't be with me. So feeling comfortable in a group is showing up with all my might. In other words, might. Neuroticism or perfectionism is a blessing and a curse. That's part of me. Using numbers and words to manage fear of intimacy, that's me. Wanting to feel special and chosen, that's me. Rejoicing, joy, and talent, that's me. Identifying with others and showing my growth instead of being a role, me. Vulnerability and strength, which is precious, holy contact with others. It frees me from the shame of not doing my homework, the true beauty without ideals. Happiness in being surprised and letting a big picture help me to see where things aren't aligned and the fundamentals of things being led by the fire during at night and the cloud at the daytime. Being the light and being led by the light is genuine open-heartedness and trusting my wisdom and magic, forgetting the small sorrows with a full heart and humble gratitude, the Divine Mother giving nourishment, believing in introductions, and carrying others, representing, becoming, carrying, it's all the same. No regrets, putting me first. And so what does this really sound like? It sounds like I'm ready for love, right? So I'm not here to suffer. I'm not here to fill a hole. I'm not here to have my hole filled. I'm not here to be kissed and hugged. I'm sorry, I am here to be kissed and hugged. I'm here to be invited and welcomed. I'm here to feel like I belong and I'm a part of it. I'm here to believe in myself, and I'm here to be loved when I cry or sin or fall, still be loved. And I'm not here to have a man cheat on me or lie about me or it. And then the questions like, so being ready for love, why doesn't daddy love mommy? Why doesn't mommy love daddy? What's wrong with daddy? What's wrong with me? He's never good enough. I'm never good enough. I'm allowed to leave if I want. I'm allowed to change. I can tell the truth about myself instead of hiding away in shame and not trusting anyone. My company is enough for my man, whoever my man is. It's not about revolving around a place to smoke weed or a ride to that place or food or sex. It's about sharing space, sharing touch and gazes and growing out loud together, crying, sharing, laughing. True selves out loud, I believe in love. This kind of love. And continuing with the verse from Numbers, verse 10 of chapter 17, needing to be mothered is to be welcomed. Needing to be admired is to be intellectually acknowledged. The water breath, or the ujjayi, brings me into my bones, into the earth. This is how you do it. Channeling Leah is surrendering to the one in my life, not finding the universe. If it's an arranged marriage, then I believe in destiny. I kind of resist her sometimes. She's the character in the Bible who was the older sister of Rachel, who was the chosen one by Yaakov, but then Leah was still given God's destiny for her, and she never felt like she was really loved. She had to have children to think maybe her husband would love her. Confession, admission, I can close the door and walk through the eye of the needle. This pasuk, this verse, is a command, a suggestion, offering a compromise and a covenant. A first step, opening a change, instantly transformational powers available. There's a portal, black hole. It strips all. I want to read it again. Remove yourself from among this congregation, and I shall consume them in an instant. They fell on their faces. It's that trusting that everything I need will be on the other side in the journey. Letting go of everything is freedom, and light is so bright it burns everything that is not light. That's my resurrection. That is resurrection. I can surrender to love. It's protecting me and tending to my every need. The Divine Mother is finding me so precious and sweet and cute and wants to keep me totally safe, and so she doesn't let anything hurt me. Like a grizzly bear, I can be small. What does it mean they fell on their faces? Humility toward the life preserver, nurturer, and sustainer, not being entitled, ungrateful, or dissatisfied. In my life, I'm always looking at what everyone else has or is doing or thinking, and I think it's better and feeling insecure about my own choices. Then I take things personally, become despairing and maladaptive, conniving, unsafe, and petty, and isolating from the tender love and care that I need, and not being able to be vulnerable, yet becoming even more vulnerable because of it. So this whole Leia thing of being the chosen one, there's misogyny, there's patriarchy, letting it go. The wound is terribly hurting. To suffer is to bear the unbearable. These are perfectionist ideals that have to be grieved for. So for a life that we didn't get to live, she had to make peace with her life. Surrendering to protection is a life. And meanwhile, Rachel didn't have kids. She wanted kids so badly. So she had to make peace. She didn't get to be with her man. And eventually when she died young. So no one got the everything. So surrendering to the protection that life is protecting me and I can trust my life is being so gentle that everything can exist near me without me turning against them. And everyone, because they can be innocent child acting through a pattern that is gone and has transformed from there. I used to laugh in an evil way at fat people, crippled people, homeless people, dying people. It's embarrassing to say. Addicts, dependents. But it must be for me to have to live life this way, running from myself, my presence. I'm all of that, right? I'm none of it, I'm all of it. And community is really the medicine. To commune with others. I want to share a little bit about expansiveness versus the possessiveness and control. When we move forward, it's like sitting in the same place. Awareness carries my mind, soul carries my energy, life carries my form. Discipline is my spiritual nourishment, and when I listen to the wisdom of the past rather than try to recreate or redo, the creating the stories, when I rationalize the premise, it's still a delusion. So believing I can redeem myself in the past with severe admonishment and boundaries expressed, filling in people if I can't do it, waiting to punish the teachers who didn't know better than to shame, hiding and a collapsed nervous system, not a tolerance. Holding space for my emotions, though, means mothering me versus the men. Maintaining mindfulness means responsibility for my actions. Actions have consequences, and seeing how my actions can cause harm. Making decisions based on skillfulness and prioritizing wise friends. Perspective added, that they add compassionate support for the sake of true happiness, because I can never satisfy my desires and cravings. Not getting my way or feeling unloved by those I want most. There's freedom from the hate, the greed, and confusion of chasing that. And experiencing impermanence rather than chasing or clinging to pleasure and avoiding discomfort is the way to really to get into that consciousness, which in Christianity they call it Christ consciousness. In Judaism we call it Keter consciousness. It's basically being in line with prayer, getting past self-consciousness. And I want to share, actually, it's from Andrew Harvey at the Shift Network. The real self is a server, love, humility, strength, joy, expansion, wholeness, energy for innocence and sacred activism, tender support of surrendering to Mother Nature, attracting the man who loves, nurtures, and protects the feminine, which I honor in me instead of humiliating, degrading, manipulating, and exploiting it. The warrior midwife helping people, innocence of being loved, and a divine child of inevitable goodness. The false self is addicted to idols of perfection and requires slaves. Blame, shame, guilt, fear, compensation, fragmentation, craving infusion, so at the bottom of the barrel, looking for scraps. Narcissism, really. Constant competition with others, feeling triggered or avoidant, judging nonstop, fragmentation, and victim. The psychopathy checklist by Hare, Hare, shallow emotional response. So what I'm trying to say in all of this is that being ready for love, we are the ones changing. When we show up with all our might, we stop having the false self. We stop being psychopaths, narcissists. Anyone can be that. So it's really being everyone. It's being the consciousness to be a they, to be a we. Psychopathy is not that. So we went from real self, now we're going, what is it when your psyche cracks and it becomes harmful? shallow emotional response, lack of remorse or guilt, glib or superficial charm, a grandiose sense of self, seeking stimulation, pathological lying, cunning and manipulative, poor behavioral controls, callousness and lack of empathy, parasitic lifestyle, sexual promiscuity, lack of realistic long-term goals, irresponsibility, impulsivity, failure to accept accountability, criminal versatility, juvenile delinquency, revocation of conditional release. It's about the amygdala, the cingulate cortex, orbital frontal cortex, the paralimbic brain circuitry for interpersonal, lifestyle, antisocial, and emotional elements. I'm going to stop here, but said a whole lot. It's worth it always to listen to these videos more than once if you feel it's relevant for you. I wish you the best. Bye.